Well, here we go, we're back again, and we're on race number 7, and we're going to Monaco. 6 points for us so far in this career that we've picked up. Let's go through some of our inboxes. Lance Stroll getting a dig in again for his braking. He's only rated 68, he's got a development point there, so we'll just pop that on, and it only takes him up to 69. It's not great, really. Chassis design has been completed now, so that's a good bit of R&D that should hopefully give us some pace in the race. We're going to develop and take a hit on cost on getting one of them through for the next race at Monaco, and the exact same with the underfloor. We need some pace in this car to pick some more points up. We are outperforming expectations as it stands at the minute, but we don't want to fall behind the competition. Lance Stroll damaged his underfloor in the last race, so we'll just pop one of them onto his car and then put the extra one on Sebastian's. So run through some of the parts, change into our new chassis. Our front wing for this race will be the correct spec, and same with the rear wing will be the correct spec. Got 2 side pods to change, and we've already got the right one on there. Underfloor is brand new, and suspension, yet again, we've got the correct one on there. So let's get some more R&D performed. We've got 10 engineers who are waiting for a bit of work to do, so we'll go in with the chassis. And this is research for next season's car now. So we're going to split our time between the 10 race engineers, 5 on each project. 1 for research for next year, and then we'll do 1 for designing more parts for this year. As we do the front wing for this season, using them wind tunnel hours up, splitting them equally between 4 development pieces, and we'll get a high speed front wing spec on. 1.2 million cost as we're doing a rushed development on them. Race preparation, race targets, I still don't feel comfortable setting additional race targets with this car, so we'll leave that. We don't want to be losing any money just yet, but here we go into Monaco.
Cars have been racing through Monaco streets since 1929, and this weekend is no exception, as we get to watch the new generation of world-class drivers take over Monte Carlo.
So as we came to the end of Q1, the drivers went out quite early to avoid the traffic that you can get around Monaco, and it put us P8 and P9. So just finishing off their last flying laps with 20 seconds to go. Yellow Sector 1 from Sebastian. Green from Lance Stroll in Sector 2. Sector 1 time not updating there, which is really annoying. Can Sebastian improve at all as he goes round the final corner? He improved just slightly there. He keeps in P8. A lot of cars that could jump him at the minute. Remember, running a couple of new specs on these cars. Lance Stroll drops in, stays P9 behind Sebastian. Do we just make it through here? Oh, Daniel Ricciardo doesn't make it out of Q1. We do, we've made it through. Lance Stroll is P15 and Sebastian is P12, which means we actually make it through. We make it through with both cars into Q2. That has not happened yet all season, so it just goes to show them new parts really are paying off. So this is Q2, we're out on the soft tyre, fresh soft tyres, to do our last flying lap. Sebastian got him out nice and early to do his first run. He avoided all the traffic, and it put him P4. Now, Lance, on the other hand, did get caught up in a little bit of traffic, so he's sat P10, and you can see there was traffic by some of the placings in that leaderboard after the first couple of runs. The Red Bulls obviously dominating this at the minute. Sebastian going with a yellow Sector 1, but even look at this, right? Stroll goes green, which is a personal best for him. It's still not as quick as Sebastian, who's putting in lesser laps. Stroll goes green with a Q2, a Sector 2, sorry. What will Sebastian go with here? So Sebastian's yellow on his previous time, but he's still faster than Lance. So Lance isn't improving on Sebastian. Where does Lance come out in this? He puts himself P9. I don't think that's going to be good enough. It isn't good enough. He's in P13. Vettel's in P10. Does he hang on to it? Where does Ocon go? Ocon knocks him out. It's going to be P12 for Sebastian and P15 for Lance Stroll. But the first time yet this season, both cars into Q2 and in the top 15. It's really good. But Sebastian outperforming Lance there.
It's time for the final touches here on the grid ahead of today's race.
There was some good work from Aston Martin during the qualifying session, and they will go to the grid full of confidence.
Okay, here we go then. So here is the race strategy that I'm putting on both cars. I only want one stop in this. I want Lance to go hard from the start. Sebastian's going to play a long game on the medium and hard tyres.
It's sunny and bright as the drivers line up on the grid. It's time for one of the most exciting races in the world. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
So here we go then. It is the Monaco Grand Prix. Now, Monaco typically known for its lack of overtaking, so this might not be action-packed like some of the other races. As Lance, look at that. I say that, and then Lance goes and makes up 2 places already.
Martin took a chance and it's paid off.
Very well done there, and he's sat himself behind Sebastian. Hopefully these cars can use each other to pull themselves through the race. To come round that hairpin that you only take at 40 kilometers per hour. Such a slow hairpin, almost stationary sometimes it looks like. Both drivers with the ERS on overtake mode, and it's worked so far for Lance. Vettel half a second behind Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. The Alpine's such a difficult car to overtake. We've been stuck quite a few times behind it. But it's this long straight here now where Sebastian's got to deploy that overtake and try and just force Esteban to go deep into the first corner, try and get a slipstream on, just try anything here. But it's just not close enough. So as we move through the race, not a lot happening.
We have low battery.
As we switch the battery modes back to neutral, allowing the drivers to just equally manage that. Up to lap 13 now, and Vettel and Lance still P12, P13, but there's been a crash in Sector 1. What's happened there? Almost stationary. It involves our 2 cars, does it? Ocon is in front of Zhou Guanyu. Zhou's crashed. Let's have a look what's happened here.
Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one.
Oh, he's lost the car and he's...
And that's an
Ooh.
off. And a big off.
So Zhou loses the car, spins into the barrier, Ocon goes into the back of him, and we're just looking at the end of that lap. How has Zhou not picked up enough damage to go into the pit lane? Zhou doesn't pit, Ocon hits the back of Zhou and doesn't pit. Surely these 2 are easy pickings then for us. As we send Lance into the pit lane to go onto the hard tyre, he'll do the whole race on that hard tyre. Vettel closing up now on Guanyu. Just not getting there, avoiding that bump in the road there. Where does Lance come out?
No saving required. Copy.
So we tell Vettel to use the additional petrol that he's got in the car. Lance comes out behind, in front of the 2 Williams, and look, here we go. Sebastian makes his move on Zhou Guanyu up into P11. Nicely done.
This is good.
Good bit of encouragement from his race engineer there.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
That was nicely done there.
Lift.
Up to lap 32.
Save fuel. Copy.
As Vettel comes into the pits, he'll box onto the hard tyre now and he'll go to the end of the race on that hard tyre. So both our drivers on the hard tyre. Where does Sebastian come out? Ocon is also in the pits. So here we go then. Stroll comes down the home straight. He's sat behind Zhou Guanyu. Ocon and Vettel come out the pits. Ocon gets away
We need a charge here.
before Lance and the Alfa Romeo come round the corner. Sebastian is locked up. It's like Sebastian hesitated then and didn't just carry on going, and Guan Yu's been allowed to go past him. Now both the Aston Martins are 1.8 seconds behind the Alfa Romeo. We know at Monaco it's a ball ache to overtake anyway,
Yeah,
and
take it easy.
we've let Guan Yu through, essentially. So Sebastian and Stroll, P16, P17, now 1.6 seconds off Guan Yu. We're on lap 33. We're starting to get closer here. Vettel's going for it. He's going for it in the first corner. Has he made the move stick? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, Guan Yu gets in front, but we are closer now. Just a couple of laps later. We switched the ERS there to overtake mode. And yet again, there's just not a lot going on, and that's what we expect from Monaco, to be fair. We recharge that ERS for Sebastian to have a go.
With a great play there. They've moved up a place.
And we
can
get
take a
past
look
Zhou
now.
Guan Yu
Let's have a look here.
on the
This
home
was Aston
straight.
Martin.
Nicely done there. Get the move done into the first corner, and then off we go with better traction.
Gaining a
So
position
now
there.
Lance needs to do the same. On lap 51 here, Vettel up to 13th. But look, I've just noticed we could get P10 here, because surely Tsunoda, Norris and Mick Schumacher have to pit in this race. Their tyre wear then was minimal left on the tyre, and we're closing up to Mick Schumacher in front by half a second, and they go. We've called it. Mick Schumacher pits, Norris pits, Tsunoda pits, and now they will be on fresher tyres for 25 laps, but we've got track position, and we know at Monaco, that's all you need. You just need track position. We're 28 seconds away from Fernando Alonso in P9, so it will be a battle until the end. But we're on lap 74 here, 75, coming to 76. Ocon is getting a bit closer to us, but that's because we just dropped our usage on the tyre to make sure we get to the end of the race. As you can see, Lance just starting to share his concerns, dropping down to 29% of tyre usage left. But with the last lap to go, Sebastian could bring home a point for the team here. We're just making sure we can make optimal use of the battery that we've got left, the tyres that we've got left. One lap of fuel left in the car, and here we go for the final lap.
This will be our last lap.
So we're going all out on this lap now. Defend on the ERS, push in with one extra lap of fuel in the tank. We can probably push them tyres now. Well, we have gone standard, and I think that's just to make sure we get home. Lance Stroll finishes behind Verstappen, who wins the race, and that is his race done in P13. He does gain some places, which is a positive around Monaco, and we did show pace in qualifying, but it's down to Sebastian now to manage that gap to Esteban Ocon to take the last point of the race in P10. Tyre strategy has been on point, I would say, for this race. ERS management was good. We just don't want him to ruin it, as we the lap of Williams here, who's decided to race us. Sebastian just needs to make sure them tyres last till the end. Look, here is Esteban Ocon, but that Williams has actually somehow done us a favour, being a blocker in between, and we take P10. That is 1 point for Vettel, 1 point for Aston Martin. We didn't expect points in this race, but we take one, and that will do us. So here we go then. Here is the results. Max Verstappen wins the race. Charles Leclerc in second with the fastest lap, and then Carlos Sainz in third. But our talking point today, Vettel gets us a point on the board. He gets 7 for the season, puts him into P12 in the driver's standings. Lance Stroll in 18th, still yet to score a point. Bit disappointing. We're 7th in the constructors. Luckily for us, Haas, McLaren and Williams still not gaining points in that race. Oscar Piastri gains a development point, and that is why we've signed him, to start building his attributes up. And we've had to pay out Sebastian Vettel for a race bonus for coming 10th in the race, but that will do us. We're going to Baku next. A speedy track. Hopefully we've got the pace in the car. Make sure you tune in for that.